Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, live. 2022 Hot 6 GSL SuperTournament, Season 1.
Welcome back, everybody. We have an interview with our two players here, Zest and Dark. And Andy, you ready to just take this away now? Or?
All right, we're going to have an interview with the finalists, Zest. This is the 12th season of the Super Tournament, and a lot of the other players have made it to the Super Tournament finals, but you, on the other hand, this is your first Super Tournament finals, and you've beaten Maru just now. Until now, you've had no success in the Super Tournament, so how are you going to play today? Well, I met Maru in the round of 4, and I thought it would be a very, very hard game. But today, I feel like I'm on a roll, and I think I'm going to be able to play really well. Then Zest. The world's strongest Terran, Maru, is down. And now your next opponent is no less than Maru, it is Dark. So how do you think you're going to perform today against him? I feel like the top 3 in Korea is Rogue, Maru, and Dark. And 2 of those players I have beaten. So all there left is Dark, and I'm going to eliminate him today. Dark, you're not the number 1, you're not the number 2, you're number 3 in his ranking. And he has just defeated Maru to get here. And Zest says as long as there's no Maru, he'll be able to lift the trophy. What do you think about that? Well, before coming here, I looked at the brackets, and I felt like if I defeat Zoun, I'm going to be playing against Maru. But what a surprise, it is Zest standing on my way. You know, I saw him playing today, he was winning 2-0. And then when I saw Zest 2-0, I knew that today I'll be able to lift the trophy. Because Zest will be my opponent in the finals. Then Dark. So he has just regarded you as one of the top 3 players in Korea. Then how do you rate Zest? I mean, he's definitely one of the best Protoss players out there. I mean, today it's not going to be an easy game for sure. So, you know, he's a picky player to play against. But why do you keep smiling, Dark? What is the meaning behind the smile? You know, everything just seems so funny to me right now. Zest, right now it seems you're just focused on winning the game. Meanwhile, Dark is like putting a smile on his face. What does this mean? What about this matchup? Well, after this matchup, I think I'm gonna be the one who's smiling, not him. Then Zest, before we get into the game, anything you want to say? Well, he's the same teammate as me, Dragon Phoenix Gaming. I mean, I meet him quite frequently. And this is an offline match in a long time. So I hope we have an entertaining match today. Then Dark, what about you? Oh, why does Dark keep smiling? Yeah, I just want to dive into the game right now. I have nothing much to say. What will be the secret behind Dark's smile? We're gonna kick the match now. Here comes the finals.
All right, let's do this. Thank you for the translation, Andy. We are ready to get into the GSL Super Tournament finals here. Zest versus Dark. And what an interesting finals. I mean, obviously Zest is an extremely accomplished StarCraft 2 pro, but Dark really does take the cake when you compare the two. And, you know, Zest has not had the greatest success. I mean, he's had highs and lows in the last couple of years, but a lot of people thought he might be on his way out. He's coming in here in 2022 looking, to be honest, stronger than ever. I mean, the way he beat Maru was almost inspirational.
It's actually, I'm almost more impressed with Zest now than I used to be, right? Like, he was definitely it's been for a very long time, he's been the most successful Protoss in GSL history.
Right.
Right, as far back as like 2016, he was tying MC's records at least. But here we are in 2021 and then 2022, and he's really come back into full form. And he doesn't win every match. He doesn't look like the utter, solid play of a Maru or a TY or a Dark or a Rogue necessarily. Well, actually, he looks kind of like Rogue, where he has great tournaments and he has bad tournaments. But you gotta, hats off to the guy. He is a badass when he's in shape, and he continues to be the most successful Protoss in GSL history. And he's gonna add to that here tonight, perhaps.
And, it would be such a milestone to win this Super Tournament now. I think if Dark wins, he really just reasserts his dominance as, it was mentioned in the interview, top 3 players in the region.
Yeah.
And a player that seems to understand Zerg in a way that is almost terrifying to the opponents that he goes up against, where even that last game he played, he kind of reinvented, the approach to the matchup when you'd go against air toss and then just go hard into mutas and never back down, and ultimately just kind of win the game.
That was an interesting concept. Yeah.
But it's all going to come down to this: no Terrans, just 1 Protoss and 1 Zerg. A best of 7 here for our GSL Super Tournament Finals. Zest, as well as he's played here and even defeating Maru, you have to say he's still probably the underdog.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but anything can happen. Zest is playing well. Let's get into game number 1.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
All right, so I tell you, if Zest wins this, I can't get it out of my head that he did defeat Rogue in that best of 7. We never thought that Rogue would ever lose a best of 7.
That's right.
So that is a big deal there. And then to take down Maru here tonight, and he looked pretty dominating during that. Here he is against Dark, and that would be not a very long period of time where he's taken out the 3 best players in Korea, which I think once you do that and you're, the most successful GSL Protoss, you can kind of add your name to the list, I know he hasn't been the most solid for the last few years, but here he is, and you can't really argue with results. That's what tournaments are all about, is results tastes.
Yeah, that's why we do this. It's funny when you see people talk about tournaments and then be like, well, that doesn't count because of this and this. And I'm like, well, why are we doing this then?
Yeah.
The whole reason why we have these is because they do count.
Yeah, tournaments truly are what counts at the end of the day. This is actually the highest form of competition, is a LAN tournament.
Yeah.
And so, there you have it.
So we did see Dark go for the block there. This drone dangerously low on HP. If turned incorrectly, will eat another hit from the probe. And we saw the hatchery block down there at the bottom of the map, but ultimately all 3 hatcheries get up in the spots you want them to be, just in a different order. So I think not too much interference coming here from Zest.
No.
Now, we just finished the Zoun Dark series, and I think it's worth mentioning again, I don't think that series should be appearance-wise representative at all of what this series looks like. I think Zest's playstyle is so different from Zoun's.
Yeah.
Whether that be the air toss or the cheese that Zoun went for. By the way, a quick correction here. We were casting that cannon rush. It turns out, and the cannon rush was happening all very quickly, but apparently Zoun accidentally canceled the first cannon that he made when he was trying to cancel the additional pylon he made next to that.
Yeah.
And
I only saw the when they clicked on the other one, it was actually a pylon that he canceled. So yeah, that was that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, so basically the rush was timed out, but the execution was not clean from Zoun.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's a rough.
Well, that'll happen, man. Sometimes when you have stuff like that, like a rush where it all comes down to you actually just being very precise, you'll see pro gamers that are trying to keep 400 APM for absolutely no reason in the first couple minutes, where it's probably better to just slow down and make sure you do that right if the entire thing is hinged on just having those things up in time in that order,
Well, yeah, and the thing is, every player that's actually played a good amount of games has accidentally canceled a building that's wrong, whether that's, it's definitely something I know that happens to Terran players, where you try to get your SCV off, but you click on the building itself.
Oh, yeah.
Where, if the SCV is under attack and you escape, and then you cancel the building, you're like, Uh-oh.
Yeah, then you just leave the game.
And that was that moment for Zoun, basically, where it's like he's making a cannon and a pylon, and the wrong one gets canceled.
He literally
suddenly.
canceled the most important cannon in the cannon rush, the first one.
Yeah.
The one that's supposed to defend the rest of the cannons that snowball the fight to your win. So that's what happened there. But I don't know if we're going to have any cannon rushes at all this time around here. I do want to point out that we did have a Void Ray opening build here with a third base coming down, an Oracle after the Void Ray for Zest.
Yeah.
So this is kind of looking like Game 3 and Game 4 of Zoun and Dark. The question is, you know, where does this develop to? Because air weapons is now started over here. I mean, it does seem like, you know, Zest giving a bit of a nod to the kind of tech that we saw some success there with Zoun.
And, well, Zest has actually, like, people forget sometimes that Zest oftentimes has been the strategic leader in Korea for Protoss. And, in fact, the multiple Stargate Void Ray third base builds, he's the first Korean Protoss that was doing that. Now, his was originally a 3 Stargate into Storm build, but I think it's been really refined since then, so I'm excited to see if he's going to bring anything a little bit original or a little bit different here to the build. And, hey, there's a Forge. Well, I'm trying to think if we normally see Forge. Like, that Forge makes me feel like this is going to be a few Void Rays into a Gateway timing attack.
Could be.
Because you don't really need cannons with this. Like, Shield Battery Void Ray is generally good. I mean, maybe he wants to fly around and harass a bit more with the Voids, and so he wants cannon, but I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think he's probably going to try to switch into ground a little bit more quickly here. You know, one of the tricky things for the Zerg is it's hard to scout very much. Like, you know, what they're doing over here. When you have that Void Ray out, it can basically kill Overlords or Lings or anything like that. So he might be trying to throw Dark off with a you know, a quicker interruption into ground tech.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Okay, so he did make a cannon. So that could be where he just has that built in. Oh, a third Stargate. Okay, okay, here we go. Now, he does have the Robo, so generally when you get a Robo like this, it is for that Disruptor.
Well, I think it makes sense, you know, especially if you're going to push in there. If you can get Disruptors under the Queens or,
yeah,
you know,
well, if they try to push and you have Disruptors against the Queen push.
Oh, you just win. Psh. Yeah. Psh. What?
Feel through that.
Get
Queens.
out of town.
Get out of here, Queens.
And again, you know, Zerg doesn't get to identify right away how the tech is developing here. You know, there's a lot of secrets that can be kept inside the Protoss space when you're doing an opening like this one.
Yeah. I'm excited to see which direction Dark goes in here, because obviously we saw him go heavy Corruptor, and we talked about why that might not be the play. He is getting Roach speed, +1 range. He's making 4 Queens at a time. The Spire's almost done. But we haven't seen the Infestation Pit, right? I don't believe we've seen that yet. So normally Dark does like to go for a pretty quick hive against Sky Toss.
Yeah, he's still coming in here and poking with those Void Rays. The carrier production started, by the way. You know, really, Protoss gets to sit back and really power up when you're doing this. And a lot of Zergs in the past used to try to attack into the Protosses to no effect at all. And it kind of fed into the strategy. But the play nowadays is to just tech along with them. You know, there are games, and this is certainly one of them, where you basically get into a position where you're both in super macro mode. It's like you're almost both playing the single-player speedrun race of, you know, development on each side.
Very much so, yeah.
It's actually a very fun way to play. I think it can seem dull to the viewer, but honestly, when you see that race kind of start up and everybody's trying to cut corners wildly.
Yeah.
Now, with this number of Queens and the fact that he wants to tear down these rocks, it seems like Dark is pretty confident that he's found a sore spot that he can come in here and punish.
I tell you what, Tasteless, I don't think he has. I don't like this from Dark. Like, as soon as Zest saw more Corruptors, he's added a bunch of gates. I believe he just finished his Templar Archives, and he switched back into Voids, which just do better. Plus, he has Disruptors for these Queens walking across.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, but I mean, it's undeniable when you see all those Queens still sitting there outside that area.
Yeah.
He had intentions of really taking a fight, but they're actually moving up. They're at the bottom of our screen here.
He wants to do it. there's one disruptor. I don't know if he has a second one on the way, but like 2 disruptors will really destroy
Well,
these
he
queens.
needs to start having his damage snowball pretty quickly. Another tag over here onto the queens.
And now don't forget, this is a 4th base. Zest is not necessary. If he loses this base, it hurts, but it doesn't mean he's 100% dead. Where are those? Where's the disruptor? Definitely want to see that come out.
Okay, he's going to target down that carrier, eliminating a lot of the complexity here for the air fleet that Protoss has.
A couple of vials coming down. The disruptors are trying to make their way down here. If he can get the double disruptor hit on the queens, it's pretty huge.
You know, it seems like this was almost timed out to get here right before disruptors.
Well, he could have had more disruptors. It's just he was buying other stuff.
Well,
wow.
I mean, Dark certainly makes this look very easy. Now, Zealot Archon could fare well against this. Actually, I guess not with the bottlenecking shield battery.
Yeah,
I think Dark has just outright won the game. The main is going to be rotted out with the Corruptors, and it does go to show you that I guess Zoun and Zest, while they were trying roughly the same strategy, the execution was entirely different. I don't think that Zest can recover here.
Huh. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's pretty screwed at this point.
And I mean, I guess the quicker shift in the ground really let the Corruptors kind of hammer away at the void-raising carriers, and then there really just wasn't a whole lot of time to try to get into a ground army because, you know, and look, Zest is still on 3 bases, so it's not like he has no future here, but I do think the fact that Zerg is maxed out leaving the fight is a very bad sign.
Yeah, certainly it is. He's like twice the army supply right now. More drones as well. Yeah, that was certainly painful. I want to know what the story was with the disruptors. Like, obviously he made 1 disruptor then stopped, but he took like 100 years to bring the disruptor down as well. He really needed, like, if he had 2 disruptors at the 3rd as the queens come in, I think that hold is not that hard. Like, I don't think he loses the base. You know, if you start hitting disruptor shots over and over on those queens, they're just going to run out of energy. You're going to be able to plow through everything.
He's going to have a really good angle here to surround this. I think there's a little bit of just one control group too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does seem like there's roaches kind of moving around the edge over there. But I don't know, man. I mean, again, Zerg is in such good shape. By the way, 17 mutas coming here.
Oh, boy.
Which is going to make, quick work of the 1 Archon, and then of course you can target disruptors or whatever you want.
Well, yeah, at this point,
I mean,
really whatever you want.
We really are in the twilight of this game 1 here. I just don't see any real outs right now, any real way to recover, you know. And you know, the next big unit comp switch here for Dark is on the way.
Yeah, the 18 mutas coming over. Like, the Stalker's going to have the worst time trying to chase those down. Corruptor's still trying to add their damage all over the place, trying to be as useful as they possibly can be.
Trying to get any value you can out of them, you know.
Dark's creep spread is pretty insane at this point up at the 4th base. Having killed both those Nexuses. And now the muta's coming in. This is lights out for Zest.
And yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see GG. Kind of anticlimactic ending here. I mean, really, when that attack came in there and did the damage it did and the disruptors weren't out in time, it was basically curtains, man.
Yeah.
Game was over.
So we should be seeing GG any second
here. Zest processing the loss and
honestly,
probably thinking about game 2 already as far as what strategy does he want to do.
I liked how Zest played it, except he just, I guess he didn't take that seriously enough. And Dark did do it differently. It was less Corruptors, more Queens than he did against Zoun.
He did not respect the fact that Dark would probably shift into a ground comp a little bit quicker, because all he needs to do is have the safety net of the disruptor there. And then if that attack does indeed come, you shut it down. If not, fine. I'm going to keep powering up as I was before. But I think a small miscalculation there for Zest in what was overall a pretty well-played game.
Yeah.
Now we go to game 2 and see if he can make the right adjustments. Again, Dark looking very competent, very, very comfortable in any game where, you know, there's a real emphasis on the macro.
Yeah. Well, he gets so good if you give him any economy. And then he's also so good if you don't. Like, what the hell?
Curious Minds for map 2. Let's go.
Game start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Dark.
Okay, so, you know, overall today we've seen a lot of games that have kind of gone into this void ray tech, you know, trying to basically keep the Zerg at bay while the Protoss, you know, builds out the rest of the tech tree. And let's see if Zest continues with that. I mean, Zest has really, I think, built a lot of his success in the past off of Adepts and Warp Prisms. You know, that was when Legacy of the Void was in a very different time. But
yeah,
he's still been very sharp with his timing attacks. It is cool to see in this tournament specifically that he's really reinvented a lot of his play style, or is at least building out a bigger toolkit of approaches.
Yeah.
So that he can actually.
Well, that's when Zest peaks, is when he innovates some new stuff, like fixes up build orders. Like a lot of the Void Ray third bases, he's responsible for. A lot of the old 2 Stargate Phoenixes builds, he's responsible for. The most recent Glaive Resurgence from a few years ago, that's him. That was him at Katowice, where he beat Rogue One series and then lost him in the finals with it. But yeah, I mean, if he's that's when Zest is really good. He like comes up with something new that people are gonna have a hard time with for a little bit, and then everyone copies him and it dies off, and he has to do it again.
He's got to figure out how to bring it back.
Yeah. But he is playing well. Like I mean, there were mistakes that last game, but
well,
in a different timeline, like half the timelines he wins at and half he doesn't.
You know, it is a funny thing though. I think, you know, not appreciating that in fact on a map where you're pretty far apart like that one, Dark would actually just commit with the queens, you know, and go for it. I think, yeah, he wasn't quite respecting that situation because, yeah, I mean, with the disruptor shots, he nukes the queens and the game goes on. But, you know, once Dark got in there with that first attack, that was the only attack he really had to win. Everything else was very easy.
Yeah. How do you like Dark's choice in these games to sack the drone? Like, he's harassing the minerals just a little bit, but also getting these scouts off.
I think it's good.
Yeah, I like it too.
I think it's definitely worth losing the mining minerals and the drone to just kind of, because it's Zest, right? I mean, for all the reasons we've said that Zest has had some success, and you know, Dark really does thrive when he's left to his own devices. And if we do see, you know, any kind of build that has a lot of the same themes that we saw in Game 1, I mean, look, Zoun did it in one of the games. I don't know how often these Protosses can do it in a lot of games in a row against Dark. That's the thing. Any of these races in StarCraft 2 or StarCraft 1 that are the growth-oriented race, that's the way the matchup functions. As this race is growing, the other, like it's like a fire that's burning across the map, and the other race is like the, you know, firemen trying to put it out and extinguish it. There has been an approach that we've seen where, like, okay, leave them alone and actually try to build your own wildfire. Pretty big kills here, by the way, on these drones.
Yeah.
So, just to go back to that point that I was making earlier, I mean, this Stargate build with the Void Rays that we saw earlier is kind of like the Protoss changing the game to where they also get to be like a Zerg of their own and kind of power up. And it's different from a lot of the other ways that the matchup has worked before. Now, this time around, there's a second Oracle coming here, and a third one is about to finish.
Yeah,
so this is a very different approach
is
than the last game, which was, you know, the Void Ray is a conservative route. The Oracle, it can be risky, but if you manage to find opportunities, you're going to kill drones, you're going to stun drones, and it really does test the limits. And we have a fourth Oracle coming here now as well.
Oh, interesting.
So
yeah, you don't see that very often.
Very rarely.
Yeah. Once upon a time, you would go mass oracles, but certainly not. Yeah. Certainly not something that we see very often. This is exciting, though. Yeah, definitely very different. He has gotten some good harassment done already. And, you know, honestly, you make this many oracles, as long as you're not flying around wasting energy, Zerg can't really attack you. Oracle damage output is very, very high.
Yeah. And granted, you know, their damage is limited to when they can be attacking, but not a bad way to do it. And, you know, if Zerg's going to try to take a fourth base, he's going to have to be ready for the fact that these 4 oracles can come in and just start to blast things down if there isn't the right amount of defense here.
Could end up diving on queens as well.
Sure.
I don't think he will here. Tries to keep the hurt one in the back. Oh, this is great defense from Dark, I think.
Yeah, he's reacting very nicely and not even losing a queen. Takes out a drone here or there. I think it's forgivable.
Yeah. I still think this was a good defense from Dark. Like, he zoned him out pretty well. He moved the drones pretty well. Loses 4 drones, but I mean, Zest bought 4 oracles. If he wasn't getting some drones, it would be a travesty.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to get some worker kills there when you've invested that heavily into probably the best worker sniper in the game.
Yeah.
Now we've got Stalker Blink being upgraded. And I got to say, Zest is coming here with a very different type of game. You know, Blink is on the way here with the +1 attack. Some more gateways are being used to fill this in. And we've got Dark on 3 bases. No 4th yet. But I do think there's going to be a point of tension when that 4th base is taken.
Oh, for Zest?
No, for Dark. I think when the Stalkers with Blink come out in mass.
I feel like Dark should be making the 4th right now.
Seems like it. But he's actually sending roaches across the map. He might know some kind of timing that we don't.
Well, the Oracles are harassing so hard. That's a huge amount of his money's been put into that, which means all the other production was later as well. So he might not have much defense.
But he might know this all in because the Oracles killed that, but they're not going to be able to attack in this.
Exactly.
They're not going to be able to defend in this attack, and so. I might be wrong, but I feel like Dark has a timing here where he's just going to kill them, and you know, all the power that the Oracles had here are basically muted because they don't have the energy to fight. They don't have the numbers to deal with queens.
Yeah, I think you could be right about that. He does have some cannons here. He is warping in some more shield batteries. Very important stuff, but that's a lot of biles that can come down as well.
Yeah, a lot of transfuses buying time. We've got another big warping of Stalkers. Blink is done.
He blows up 2 of the batteries already. That's really painful.
Yeah.
The Oracles come over and add what damage they can. They do pick off a few lings, but everything gets pulled back a bit.
There's more roaches and lings on the way now. The lings are really here to tank while the Ravagers are here to deal the extra damage. That last sentry, actually...
the overcharge keeps him alive a long time, but
he's finally picked off.
Then another last sentry over here on the left. No energy left, I think. Some biles going down, but Blink is being utilized. Is Zest going to hold on?
Yeah, Zest does it, man. Very nice.
Yeah. That was an excellent hold.
Yeah.
And I got to say, like, the one thing we're seeing from Zest in both these games that I feel like we don't see from Protoss very often, he's adding cannons here and there defensively.
Yeah, it's okay to make cannons.
A lot of Protoss feel like, oh no, you just make the batteries. It's even cheaper. It's so great. The batteries are broken, LOL. But actually, I mean, these cannons are adding a lot of very important damage to these holds that he's doing.
Couple thoughts on that. I think that attack would have worked better if there wasn't that giant cavity in the middle of the fight. Like watching the queens kind of try to run around that over and over.
Yeah.
It seems like the idea of that works if the map is a little bit different, but the fact that Zest was able to utilize the geography around the fight, very smart stuff.
If that wasn't there, I don't think he'd be taking that base as his 3rd.
That's true.
Because then you look at that attack, you're like, yeah, never.
Yeah. We can keep changing our decisions and how we analyze this based off what the map isn't. I'm like, but the thing is, if there were no minerals there, he wouldn't expand there.
If this was an island map, Mutas would have been a better call.
Glittering Ashes for map 3. Zest and Dark tied up 1-1.
Game start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
You know, there's nothing that makes the Zerg do those all-ins, right? With the queens getting pulled, unless you just think, okay, well, I can come in here and end the game. But rarely do you see Dark get shut down when he makes that call, you know?
Yeah. I think we host the wrong map, by the way.
So
I believe that we are jumping out of this. Because as you said, right, you were saying it was Glittering Ashes and they got into Burling Rat. I'm like, there aren't dogs on Glittering Ashes. It's too hot.
I know. They'll
for
get
dogs to be on Glittering
Ashes. Get melted walking around on that magma.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and rehost on the correct map.
Anyways, I mean, I'm glad to see this is tied up 1-1. Curious to see how the rest of the games are going to go. That was really a game where Dark's all-in was shut down, mid-game all-in. We see Zergs do this quite often when they've got enough queens and they think, you know what, this Protoss is being a little bit too greedy. It's time to punish that.
Yeah, yeah. The hold by Zest was really fantastic.
Making cannons, dude, not just batteries.
Cannons, batteries.
The extra damage that comes out from those, what was it, 3 cannons? You know, because we saw the batteries get wiped, and a lot of times that's when you know the rush is over. That's why he was staying back there with the Ravagers, is just kill off the batteries and then snowball the damage, but then you've got enough DPS from those cannons too.
All right, we are loading the correct map. I wonder if we'll resume from replay for Berlingrad.
Game starts.
I don't think we've ever had that situation before. Not that I can remember.
Yeah, it seems like that's one of the only times that's happened in our studio. The wrong map loaded up.
Yeah.
So this is going to be another hatchery block here with the probe coming out across the map. This is maybe our prettiest new map.
Yeah. Those cleaning bots. There's a pretty malfunctional Tasis. They're on creep. They're not doing anything special.
That's right. Can you imagine if they clean the creep up?
That'd be amazing. I think Zergs might veto this map, though. So does block the hatch, forces it at the 3rd base from Dark. You think it's another Stargate opener?
Probably, yeah.
I think so.
I feel like we're going to have one game where he expands and doesn't do a Stargate opener.
Yeah.
Just because that feels a little bit like the way Zest would play a best of 7. You know?
Should have one game.
There's one game where it's like speed lots and a war prism, and he just, you know, tries to catch him off guard. But yeah, I mean, let's see what he wants to do.
Nexus goes up. Back score afterwards.
And yeah, we got to wait for that core to finish, man, to really have an idea.
It's like the old days.
It's true.
It is true. When you don't make any units till your core is done, there's not a lot to talk about. I'm like, yeah, look at that. He's trying to glitch the minerals a little bit. A little tiny bit.
But I think you're right. Probably Stargate next. We have one Adept warping in here too. And there it is, Stargate. Yep. Now, in Game 1, we saw the Void Ray made. Game 2 was 4 Oracles, which was pretty cool to see from Zest. And, you know, I think, you know, Dark thought that maybe that would play into his hands. You know, the moment that the Oracles came to harass, they couldn't also help defend. That's certainly what I thought when I saw the attack coming out. But solid defense here this time around. Now, we don't know if it's going to be Oracles or Void Rays. It doesn't seem like the 4 Oracle build is something you're going to bring out several times in a series. Not. Whereas the Void Ray seems to be one of like the core builds you want to keep with you in a series like this.
For sure. Well, let's see. Finishes up. Void Ray it is, but don't know how many. Sometimes it goes Void Ray Oracle. Sometimes, well, I think generally I do like Void Ray builds which pop an Oracle in pretty quickly. It's just the scouting is so much better.
Right. So this Adept going to shade up here. We did see that all-in that we were talking about Dark likely to do in one of these games coming up here. I don't think this map necessarily is a desirable one to try to do another Queen all-in on, unless you really, you know, identify some type of weaknesses there.
Yeah, yeah. I can't disagree with that. Trying to go up a ramp or whatever is never fun. Those very slow queens. So Oracle into a 3rd Nexus very quickly. And as Warp Gate finishes, we'll get to see, is he going to start that air attacks?
So, there's the air weapons. Man, this is the build. If you want to play straight up against Zerg, this is it.
Oh, absolutely.
Clearly.
100%.
Oracle right after that. here to try to snipe some drones.
You don't want to try to fight the Zerg units on the ground, man. Just be in the sky above them.
Second Stargate. Now, it does seem like there's an approach you can take, Artosis, where you can, get a bunch of Void Rays and then switch to carriers, but we have seen people that just stick on Void Rays for a really long period of time.
Yeah.
What do you think we're going to have this time around?
I think you do have to go into, well, like you said, there are definitely games that we see where they do stick on the Void Rays, they get the speed, they run around, try to snipe hatches and stuff like that can be cool, but I think you put a lot of pressure on your opponent by going into carrier, because carriers scale very, very well.
That is a
once
good
you
point.
actually get a decent amount, like the first couple, not that big a deal.
It does seem like the speed for the Void Ray, and you come out and you try to zap stuff down, almost is like a fork in the build order, where like I'm going to catch you off guard because you think I can't attack you, and now I can.
By the way, this is going to be a Night Assault in Ling Queen.
Wow, he's going to do another one. Okay.
Yeah. Now it looks like he's going to go for the main. Yeah,
and this has been pretty effective against this build before. Void Rays, they can't target down, an innumerable amount of Lings that are coming at them.
I thought he was going to go for the main because that overseer.
Well, he only has one Nidus, right?
Yes. But he can, what he'll probably do, I think, is pop that down and then try to make one in the main wall.
I think that's probably what's coming.
Yeah.
I
know Rogue would do that for sure.
Well, I think in this day and age, your two Niduses is always better than one, right? But why not have them pop out at the unusual area to have attack? And so he comes out here with those Lings. Now, just below this, below our screen here, we have a bunch of Queens coming up. So he's going to try to come here and peg the Void Ray.
Yeah, I think he has to give up this Nexus. There's just so many Queens coming down right now. Like, he throws on the overcharge, but okay, he's going to stop the Nidus in the main base, which is certainly important. And he's going to kill the Overseer, so he takes the time on that, which makes a lot of sense.
Man, I feel like this is getting shut down so hard, it's crazy.
That overcharge is doing all right for him, that is for sure. Also, the Stasis doing a great job here. More Lings come in, another Nidus up close. More shield batteries are behind. Yeah.
Is this enough to actually tip the Protoss over? Again, there's not a lot coming back if you're unable to stop the this third base that's up here. The Protoss would have to, the Zerg would have to leave, humiliated back to his base through the Nidus.
Oh man! Well,
that's
it's not
dirty
over.
Nidus location right there.
Yeah.
One the Void Rays can't really get to very easily.
Okay, he does send a Void Ray up there to try to deal with it. It looks like that is going to finish. And the Void Rays continue to fight. These cannons and shield batteries doing a good job. Another Nidus going down immediately. Very rogue-esque here from Dark. But everything seems to be getting held.
Yeah, it seems. Oh, and the fact that he snipes that, suddenly these Queens are marooned in this location.
Yeah, they
if they
run
go
all the way
off
back.
creep, they're just going to get shot down with ease.
Oh,
man,
overcharge.
A lot of Banes.
Oh, the Banes are actually a great call here. They're going to get in and actually do more damage than anything else that's happened so far this game. The Nexus is getting very, very low right now.
And, I mean, this Nexus is on the verge of death, but the Queen count's getting lower. As I say that, though, more Queens pop out of the Nidus. The new one to join this fight.
This is very, very close, but I think that Zest has held it tasteless.
Wow. Dude. Zest is insane. I can't even believe that.
That was a tough hold, too. Dark is not done. He's still making Lings. He's still making Queens. Zest is damaged.
Yeah, he's hurting for sure, and he's got a little attack ready down here. The thing is, I think the presence of the Nidus is going to draw those Void Rays down there anyways. I mean, they want to play cleanup right now. If you could just clear out the Zerg's presence, you're going to be fine. Going for the Cybernetics core, which is an interesting play, to say the least.
Oh, these Banelings come in. You can't save the Nexus. I think he's just got to run what probes he has.
Okay, so he gets the Nexus. Final hurrah here from the Zerg.
But Void Ray's speed is done. He's making 3 carriers.
Yeah.
This still looks like a Zest win to me.
I think you're right. I think that with the Void Ray speed especially, he can suddenly be a threat on many parts of the map, unlike before.
Yeah, he can definitely kind of fly across. And with 3 carriers coming up, Queens are not going to deal with this very well. There is a Hydralisk Den on the way. Too little too late, though, I think. Like, he's got to play full defense against these Voids, which is going to buy time for Zest to get out more carriers, to get his new third base up and everything.
I mean, you can really see how fast suddenly the Void Rays are able to come across the map. Immediate denial over there on top of the gas, popping an Overlord as well. And the moment you realize that the Queens are high enough in numbers that you don't want to deal with them, you just run.
Yeah.
And you can just start to cause damage on other parts of the map.
Yeah, there's no way to slow him right now. He can only zone them out. He does have 2 groups of Queens, one in the main, one in the third. Voids will just fly away. Meanwhile, carriers defending that third base very cleanly. More Voids being made, so going more for that speed rather than the overall damage output of those carriers. There are Hydralisk upgrades coming. And, I mean, Hydras can eventually beat Voids, but I don't think in these numbers. Like,
well,
I think, like you said, the Void Rays as well can just kind of run away if they're not going to win.
Right. I mean, yeah, with that speed upgrade, certainly you're a lot more mobile here. Now, the carriers are grouping up here in the middle. The Void Rays are going to merge up with them. Again, 3 Void Rays coming out at a time, which is an incredible amount of firepower. And he may try to just pressure point this area right over here. Now, I don't know how many Queens Zerg has, but it's got to be a lot.
It's certainly a lot, yeah. Some Spores trying to come up and join their damage as well, but, well, a lot of Interceptors are falling, but that means that also the Interceptors are tanking for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, that just means that the Void Rays are going to be untouched for a little bit longer here. And we're going to start to see that number of Queens get a little bit lower and lower here. Is it enough to... There it is, GG. Dude, Zest is in the lead.
Yeah, 2-1.
Another game with an attempted, forced victory with the mass Queens coming out.
Yeah. Zest, yeah, it was a great defense, right? Like, he didn't even know it was coming until he heard the Nidus, but he set up more cannons, he set up more shield batteries, he was able to hold on for long enough. And Dark was pretty darn all in. He did not have anything to fall back on. He had no upgrades or anything like that.
Right.
He was just going for the throat.
So, I think Dark might be trying to take advantage of his 5-minute break here.
Yeah.
Honestly, like,
surprised.
Here's the thing, is like, you kind of have to be ready to pull the trigger at any point in time with aggression. As Zerg, I'll hold that thought, guys. Short break, we come back, game 4. Sorry, we'll be right back.
Didn't love you, what would you do with me? What if I held you under my spell? We would just make believe. Little puppet on a string, I had you wrapped around my finger. You believed we could be happy ever after. You never saw it coming, even in your dreams. Lovers and liars, we're catching on fire. Lovers and liars. Lovers and liars, we're catching on fire. Lovers and liars. What if I told you my little secret? I've been in lock and key. Maybe I'll let you believe what you want to. Easier, don't you think? Little puppet
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫식스.
오, 커뮤니티. 내 이름도 검색해볼까? 광민선 꽃받침? 광민선 각선미? 인기글은 내가 찾을 거야. 나이스! 감사합니다. e스포츠의 커뮤니티는 여기!
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨
핫식스.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫식스.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨
핫식스.
(2022) GSL SuperTournament Season 1
Finals.
with Hot 6.
The pyrotechnics are in use.
And Zest is on fire right now. He's
Yeah.
playing really fantastically. Dark is going to have to change up his approach.
Yeah, Dark's tried the same killer move in two different ways. I mean, they were packaged differently in game 2 and 3, but the end result goal was the same, was to basically kind of gut punch the Protoss in the middle of development when, you know, they're trying to build up that air fleet, and you kind of shut it down in the process. But he's parried both those attacks, and
Yeah.
I am curious how many more times we're going to see a mass queen push here.
Well, the Queen's tasteless. Here's the thing. They're pretty slow off creep.
Yeah.
If Dark wants to do that, he needs to get Vipers to pull them very quickly to where they want to go.
We're going to go to map 4 now. Zest with a 2-1 lead in this GSL Super Tournament Finals.
Game start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
So once again, we've got a pylon at the entrance, another probe coming across the map to block the hatchery. I mean, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, but let's see if there's another Void Ray opening or some kind of a Stargate opening here from Zest, because we've had some patterns already beginning to develop. And obviously, there's still a ton of different variations that you can do when it builds this early on, right? But I just want to put that out there because it does seem like, you know, if the Stargate tech starts to, you know, really develop here, Dark right now at least seems to think that he needs to come in and end the game.
Well, that's certainly what he's been trying, which is, I mean, you know, Dark's someone who always mixes in some aggression, and he does really like to try to end it early, and that's fine. But, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him, if Zest goes for it again, go for that later game. Zest, in the past, hasn't really been known for his late game, although I think he fixed a lot of that when he played Rogue in that last Code S. But, you know, Dark's approach is really different than everyone else's, and we've seen other Zergs try to mimic it a little bit to varying success, you know, the Ultralisk-based anti-Sky Toss type of play.
Right.
And I wouldn't mind to see him try that against Zest. Like, I think Dark should still have confidence in his late game.
Yeah,
You give Dark a big economy and ways to switch things up, there's very few that can take him out, man. This guy's a world champion, you know?
he can actually kill that probe. or that drone, I mean, excuse me. Is he going to come back in there for it?
Yeah, he's coming for it. Are you kidding me? Oh, look at it run. What a coward.
Now, I agree with you, Artosis. I feel like Dark is very competent if he's able to develop. But, you know, there is something to be said about the fact that he's twice tried to just shut the game down.
Yeah.
And that could be that, you know, the Protoss players have really figured out this kind of, you know, how to balance on this knife's edge of developing and growing and basically surviving. To where maybe they are kind of scary. I mean, basically the carrier Void Ray gets set up right before the Zerg is finished getting all the bases that you need to kind of run a late game against Protoss.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe that's what's happening here. Now it's going to be a Void Ray if I had to guess. Yeah. I think that Oracle build is probably a one-off.
You're probably right. Yeah, I do want to see him continue down this road.
Now we've also had games where, you know, and I don't know how trendy this is right now, but one Void Ray into Mass Round or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, Protoss is a funny race in that it you know, it's true in StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2. I think more true in StarCraft 2, this statement, but that you need to kind of be able to switch it up in game enough different times to pull it off. It's at the highest level,
trickery
it
is
seems like
part of like what they're actually strong at. Like,
well, what they have to rely on, I think, is more importantly, not just that they're strong in it, that you can't really win without it, which is why I think there's a big burden on Protoss players in both PvZ and PvT, but I'd say right now more so in PvZ to kind of have these, you know, quick rotations or fake out builds or psych out the other side, where like Terran don't have to do this in some matchups. Like I think you look at TVZ and sometimes Terrans try to throw the Zerg off, but you can just kind of look at like what Innovation does, where he's very predictable and it still tends to work out very often.
Well, honestly, Protoss is somewhat designed like this anyways, right? Where, you know, basically you make the Cybernetics core and you have unlocked 3 different tech routes that you can make.
Exactly.
So that's actually a huge part of it, whereas Terran is completely linear. Right? Like you go barracks, factory, starport, and there isn't a different order.
Did he not cancel that?
He did not cancel that, dude. Holy crap.
I wasn't even going to say anything because
because that always gets canceled.
It, but he tried to last second it a little bit too last second-y.
Yeah, he's being, wow, that's brutal.
So bad.
But by the way, he's going glaives and he's getting fake +1 air. Like he's getting +1 air, but he's not making Stargate units. So he's trying to make this look similar to before.
Yeah.
But there's a Baneling Nest on the way.
Okay, I can't believe he lost that Nexus.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's too bad too. We were having a good talk about that. But
it is the branch of the 3 different core techs: the Stargate, the Robo, or the Twilight Council.
This makes for a big variety of different things that can happen at certain times. But anyways, Glaives is going to be finishing up here pretty quick. I don't think that Dark is going to die to this. Like, he's only on Lings, but the Baneling Nest is just, yeah, look, he's making like 5 Banes. So you can't finish the Shade if the Banes are nearby.
It does appear that Zest build is all but countered right now, guys.
Yeah, but he does it like it's not like a 7-gate, you know.
Well,
it's like
right.
It's a good amount. It's a good amount, but
it's
It's a lot of adepts.
It might just be failed adepts with an air weapons upgrade.
Yeah, it could be.
After that, and when next that was already killed off.
He does have 17 adepts. That's pretty serious.
All right, let's see if this is enough.
Okay, well, here come the Banes. And decent spreading.
Yeah. Actually, really good spreading, to be honest.
It's a lot of Queens still. He is making another 20 Lings, but there's
attacking
not like a lot of...
Hitting the hatchery.
Yeah, see, those Banes were in the perfect position. He could not finish it. He's going after the Queens now. That +1 air attack almost done. The Void Ray did die, so this won't actually do anything. Should have finished 1 there, I think. See if you can pop a couple Banes.
Not a bad idea.
Oh, he does have another Void. Okay.
All right, well, it's got +1. It's going to be even better at fighting these Lings, Artosis.
Now. All right, third base is up. More adepts being made. I do not like this position very much right now for Zest, but yeah, like, look, there's a Hydralisk Den on the way. Lingbane Hydra against Adept. I've seen it before, Tasteless. It's not pretty.
Yeah, well, you know, this was a pretty good callback to the early Zest days. I mean, I actually like the fake air weapons upgrade. That really, I think, sells the, the whole build, because especially in a game where you go Stargate every time, I think this is just like such a smart move. But it's not worked, and this is most likely going to be, tying this up 2-2.
Okay, well, he had 3 groups of adepts there. They finished in each location, but definitely the first group into the natural did very poorly. He's getting an okay amount of drones right now. Cancels the shade there.
There's probes that have already been killed off. A couple more to go now in the main.
Everything seems to be on fire for Zest right now.
Yeah, well, we may see him kind of wither up and die here at this rate. Like, he's dealing some damage to the Zerg, but it's important to emphasize that, the Zerg is developing at a way quicker rate here. I mean, the Robo's just now started. The Blink upgrade has just begun.
Yeah, and Zest is not even mining from his natural right now. Look at that, a few Banelings being made to try to slip into the 3rd base. This full probe saturation will be huge if they can get in there. Looks like Zest may end up finding that. So he's sending some adepts up the side. Forge getting started, trying to get into Blink. Oh boy. Let's see, I think those Banelings are waiting, right? That's what I've got my eye on right now, because that's almost like a game ender. If he gets in and wipes out most of the probes at the 3rd base, this is already so bad for Zest.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of good parries here from Dark, back at home, but it's eventually going to be Dark's turn to actually take a fight. I like the Banes being sent over here at these angles. It looks like, Zest's reaction speed is pretty good.
Yep. Gonna lose, basically nothing there. Now, is this going to be Colossus, or is this going to be Disruptor?
I think Colossus.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right.
I think the Disruptors aren't going to be as handy against Ling Bane. I mean, I guess you could get some good shots on the Hydras, but...
It's hard on Creep to make that work.
Right.
But also, Disruptor can be good, too. Let's see it. I'm actually kind of excited to see which one it's going to be. Because, this has to work for Zest. Okay, he goes into Colossi, so he's looking for that consistent damage output. Because look at his army, right? Zest is getting into an army that's actually pretty decent for mid-game, but does not scale well. Adept Colossus can kill a bunch of low-tech Zerg stuff, but, over time, this is not what you ever see at the end of the game, right?
Okay, he's coming through with a lot of Banes. Now, the Banes target some of those Adepts. Maybe a little bit wasteful when you see where the rest of this army really is.
He didn't cancel that Nexus either, I don't think.
Oh, did he not?
I think he did not.
Ugh.
I did not see a number pop up.
Yeah, that means he didn't cancel it.
Lots of Lings and Banes.
This is definitely the worst game from Zest we've seen so far. He did kind of wager a bet by doing the build he did, and Dark is shutting it down pretty handily.
Yeah. He is going to need some really fantastic force fields here. This is a just ton of Banelings. 41 Banelings are out right now, but there you go. Those are great force fields. Here comes the flank of Banes. Oh, okay.
Dude, he's actually kind of holding it.
Yeah.
Let's see how this attack down here at the bottom. Some Banes going for the probes.
Yeah, and the Hydra's getting a nice arc off.
Ooh, more Lings coming up here. That's going to pop the rest of these injured units.
Well, he does. Well, the overcharge goes away. 2 more Colossus popping out. He has to hold on to this base.
Thing is, all the Colossi are still alive. He's got a battery back here. He can actually...
Oh,
never mind.
Yeah, it doesn't pull that one quite back enough. And this is a lot of damage starting to stack up. Don't forget that behind this, Dark has 77 drones, so
yeah,
even if he does not kill him all the way here, he's in way better shape. And Zest knows it. Tied up 2-2.
Okay, good game.
We have a serious series here.
A lot of mind games going on. As I mentioned earlier, we were going to see at least one Adept Rush somewhere in here. I thought it would be without Stargate Tech, maybe with a Warp Prism. But I like what Zest did this time around to basically actually spend the money on the air attack weapons upgrade to build a facade of a strategy that he wasn't really doing. I mean, that's how you catch a player like Dark. Dark caught on very quickly.
Yeah, the Baneling Nest was super key. If he didn't have the Baneling Nest, then Zest wins that game.
Yeah, Zest would be up 3-1, and Dark would be fighting for his tournament life.
Yeah.
2,000 atmospheres is where we go for map number 5.
Okay. I mean,
Is that
honestly,
enough atmospheres for you, Artosis?
Tastes, I prefer 3,000 plus atmospheres.
Okay, sorry. Guys, get ready. Game 5 has loaded up. Let's see who takes the lead.
Game
Finals.
start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
You know, funnily enough, a lot of this series has basically been players trying to catch the other one off guard and failing.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah, you're right.
It's been a series of extremely solid defense.
It's funny how often we see this at the top level, where the guy who's kind of being cheesy just loses.
Yeah.
It's very often at the very top level. But, I mean, you don't want to be the guy that only plays the standard macro games.
Innovation.
Somewhat. Stats. Oh, these are two of the most successful players ever. But, yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's
they're on
important to
that
mix
end
it
of
up,
the
too.
spectrum. You know, the very conservative, you know, I'm going to get ahead in production. I'm going to play the macro style.
Probe just scouting around a little bit. Pretty standard stuff. Nexus gets started. So it's 2-2 right now. Who do you think is actually going to end up taking it?
You know, the more time passes, the more I kind of feel like it's Zest.
Yeah, me too.
And this is fun, honestly. I mean, StarCraft 2 has been around for an extremely long time. It's one of the things that makes the game so good is that RTSs really do age like a fine wine. And the games get better as, you know, we know more about them. It's very hard, even in the first couple of years, to have games like what we have, you know, in the modern era, because once you really understand a game, then you can really appreciate the strategies and see all this stuff tested out. But Dark's been one of the characters that's been, you know, just unstoppable in some aspects for the last couple of years. So to see Zest coming out and playing as well as he is super exciting.
Yeah, I always really like it when players come back into form. I actually, like, as cool as it was to see Kira finally win a championship, I almost wish Zest had, because those are some of my favorite players, the ones that drop down for an extended period to the point where you don't think they'll ever be champions again, but then they become champions again, because I think that's one of the most ridiculously hard things for these pros to do. There's so few, right? We've had StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 out for like 23 years total, and there's so few champions that were champions in multiple different eras. And the ones that are, you like really remember, like Innovation and stuff, right?
Right. And so, I mean, it's cool to see someone like Zest come back. You know, to kind of go off of what you were saying, Artosis, like, really, like, competitive gaming on the internet is like the most insane form of competition when you think about it. The fact that everybody's plugged in together, you can get a game at any time of the day, anywhere in the world, you know, in a matter of minutes or seconds. And then there's a whole ELO system that connects us all that is actually ranking people constantly. And yeah, when you see somebody who's had to step away, in this case like military service here in Korea, take time off while the rest of the entire competitive gaming world continues to churn out new metas, new games, new techniques, to then step away from that and then to come back in and reassert dominance is so cool.
Yeah, I'm waiting for one of those players to end up winning. Like if DRG ends up winning a championship, man, I'm having a party. A party. That would be like the sickest for me personally. That would be the most amazing win. You know that when TY gets back, he's taking another GSL. You can't stop that guy.
Now here's the air weapons that we were talking about. We're going to see this pretty much every game, I think, from here on out.
Yeah,
this is basically a one source point build order that has a lot of different branches.
Snaps a drone up there with the Void Ray harassment. Second Stargate. Okay, so we're actually going to see the Voids. Most likely.
Now, I think when we saw the game that where he went for the speed upgrade with the Voids, I think that was a response to actually punish the all-in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
And I want to make that clear for people, because that could look like he was just trying to do that all along. I don't think so. I think he realized, okay, I've killed the Nidus. Queens are stuck here, or at least he thought for now. Let's upgrade the speed of the Void Rays to try to come out here and really wrangle the Zerg.
Yeah, and I think it's always correct to eventually get the speed, but I think you're right that he probably was not planning on getting speed that early.
Yeah.
Now we do have the Robo coming up, so again for Disruptors. We'll see if he gets enough to hold on against whatever it is Dark may do. Dark, I think right now, not entirely sure. Is this Sky Toss? Is it something else? Oracle, staying high health, high energy. Scouting, very, very important. So don't forget, right, like, you gotta make sure that you know, like, for instance, if he is gonna push in with like a Corruptor push or something. Wow, that was an excellent stasis work.
Yeah, completely caught Dark off guard.
He's stunned to those drones.
Big stun there, big punish.
What? Okay. It's like, whoa, Su's back! You remember that?
Yeah, of course.
For those of you who don't remember, there was like, was it SOS that did it to him?
SOS or Trap or something like that?
I think it was SOS, where SOS was playing I think maybe even in a super tournament, and like, there was like 10 stasis wards in a row that nailed like his whole drone lines. It was comical.
Yeah, he went on super tilt after that. Now the Spire's coming along here. Question I'm asking myself is there a possibility of mass muta? Or is he going to go into the Corruptor, right? Because he's shown us two different styles. We thought we'd see this earlier, but last times this has happened, he basically just went for Queen all-in. So, you know, what is it going to be?
I think it'll be Queen Disruptor.
No, I mean for the Zerg. I mean, is he going to go for mass?
I'm sorry, Queen Corruptor, not Disruptor.
Okay.
Well, hopefully it will be Queen Disruptor, because that's going to be Zest taking another map. But no, I think so, right? Like, he's making quite a few queens.
Or do you just make the Spire and just keep powering on ground? No,
which is fine. Oh, it is Muta. Look at that. You're right.
Okay. Which I was curious about this before. Like, it's a funny way that the Zerg can play this with Muta. It seems like you can actually power up and get enough Mutas and just kill all the air units on their side. Like, they're defending.
Yeah.
But you're, unlike, fights where you're trying to win a fight and kill a base, you're just trying to kill the air units.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, 1 Void Ray, 2 Void Rays, carriers. I'll see you later. I'm going to make 14 more Mutas.
He made like 6 Mutas, and now he's going 13 Corruptors. Are the Mutas a trick?
Like a red herring?
Maybe he wants him to go into Phoenix or something, and then it's like the Corruptors fly over, or... Yeah, where are the Mutas? What are the Mutas doing?
Who are the Mutas?
When are the Mutas?
Why are the Mutas?
These are all real questions.
Yeah. All right, no more map for you.
No more map for you. Where are those 6 Mutas? Seriously. This is
sad.
a real question.
You see a flying unit flee to the end of the map, but it's like, yeah, I can fly. I'm like, only in a square. That's it.
It's kind of messed up that the whole world is a square. Shouldn't these maps go on forever?
Yeah.
Shouldn't all the StarCraft games being played at once on a giant world map?
It should be like Pac-Man, where the flying unit goes to the side of the screen and pops out the other.
Oh, that would be insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
good try.
Cold feet with that. Ooh, taking a lot of extra damage here with that bad turn.
Because they're trying for some snipes. They're staying away from the Archons. Okay, dude, I'm deciding that those Mutas were canceled.
I think you're probably right. I don't see them anywhere. I think
I'm angry that we haven't seen the Mutas. Like, where did they go?
By the way, Zest seems to be transitioning into a much healthier tech.
Yeah, he's got these Disruptors here. Look at that, the Archon just getting that free damage. Okay, nice pick off.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're reducing the carrier count a little bit, this can be good. Oh, look at this. Okay, so he was going Roaches a little bit, and he has a good amount of Queens. So we see Zest getting into ground, but now he's getting the Greater Spire. So you can go into Broodlords to kind of counter that ground army. Reduce the air count a little bit so the Broodlords are more powerful. Interesting, because, I mean, Broodlords are very good against these ground units specifically. Right, like, Disruptors really don't like Broods, Archons really don't like Broods.
Yeah, Archons can't function when the Broodlings come down there.
Yeah.
They become basically useless. Now, Zest is almost maxed out. War Prism just finished. We're going to have a push.
Yeah, it's time to go. You don't want to sit on this composition, because Zerg will counter it. Go get your value now.
Okay, coming up here and doing some real work onto those Corruptors. Now, is he confident enough to continue to push down here? You know, the Ravagers are funny in a moment like this. Think, you know, a lot of these floaty units are not fast, so the Biles actually really do create like an obstruction, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
If you overextend, you can end up really eating that damage.
And he's doing such a fantastic job slowing this down right now. Adding more roaches. I don't like, he's going to need to make the Broods, right? Like, this is a mostly Roach Ravager army, which will not end up beating Disruptor, Stalker, Void Ray. Just walks right through their blinks forward on top of it.
Goes right through. Thing is, I'm starting to feel like there's going to be enough with the spines here. Like, he's going to have to try to find another target to hit. If you attack into the spines, you're dead. Broodlords are about to finish, by the way, 4 of them.
4's not too bad.
No, 4's fine. I almost think the Protoss should keep moving south. This bottleneck is terrible.
Yeah, gonna be hard to get in there, but if he does come into the bottleneck, you can use your Disruptors. Pop's one of them. An okay hit on the other. 4 Broodlords coming forward to try to push this back. I wonder what Zest is making at home. If I bet you he added more Stargates. This is a great time to go back into air.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
His comp is looking worse and worse against this. It's such a yogurt comp.
It is yogurt comp, dude.
Yeah, it's like really good. Like, it's got probiotics and stuff, but only for a limited time.
I mean, I feel like Zerg completely blocked any real damage from happening there. It made it look pretty impossible for this to work. And it's kind of a weird thing because, you know, this starts out as this build up to air units, and the Zerg has to respect that. But here we are. There's going to be now 4 carriers in the game.
Now, I think the problem though is that this is what Dark has is making this comp still work for him. Because now that we're getting back into air and you're on Broodlord Ravager Roach, like, I mean, he's going to have to start splitting this off and trying to get value from different areas or something. He is getting pathogen glands, so maybe fungal bile can be good. But yeah, like as we get more carriers in there, his army doesn't shoot up, Tasteless.
What?
Yeah. Bile is not actually in the air, believe it or not. Isn't that crazy?
I don't know what exactly the Protoss wants to do to try to, I mean, especially with this map, it just seems like there's actually these very narrow areas you can't quite get into. And so is the game plan then to just try to drag the game out extremely long and, you know, maybe try to have mined out less of the resources and hopefully trade it better with the Zerg?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of tech switching going on. Like, he's going carriers again at home, continuing to upgrade, and I mean, he's being active with Stalkers, which is good because the Stalkers don't actually go that well with anything here. So he's just microing them heavily and seeing what he can get done. And that is, like, you still see Dark kind of defending with those ground units. He is adding in Infestor now, starting to add some Spores. So I think he's pretty keen to what's going on. Oh, cannon range is really low. You hear the Broods.
Oh, nice dodge there. Didn't get enough of these Broodlords here in the front. The transfuses go down and buffed it back up.
Parasitic bombs. And oh man, like
those
really good
anti-air
piles.
Artoses.
Yeah, that was silly on me. When you don't move your stuff, they absolutely are anti-air. But look, the carriers, despite parasitic bombs and vials hitting, are starting to clean everything up. We still have a prism here as well.
The Queens are going to go down, which is huge. That's a big, you know, part of the army here. So he's actually broken in. He has free range to attack wherever he wants, but he needs to reinforce this extremely quickly. I do not see a lot of money back here for Zerg either. It's like 100 minerals. I think Zest has actually won this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is just about over.
Yeah, he actually cracked it. Unbelievable. Oh, Zest! Oh my God. What a game.
Yeah, that was
Let's
that
go
was
back
a beautiful
to that
one.
final attack that we had there, because we saw the biles connecting, which, you know, in most fights in a PvZ, if biles are connecting with targets, it's like, oh, well, then you're probably going to lose. Because this should be close enough that the biles would be the game changer.
Well, I think the composition for Zest was just so much better that he was done being zoned out. He just went for the kill there. And obviously he should have dodged a little bit more than that, but yeah, it's the unit composition that Dark had was even more yogurt than what Zest had. Like, he just, the switch back into carries, he no longer had anti-air.
Yeah.
Like, look, 2-3 parasitic bombs. Okay, so you're taking the shields off the carriers. I don't think that Zest cares.
Yeah. Kind of crazy. Dark, by the way, going to use his other 5-minute break, probably clear his head and try to figure out what is he going to do in this next game, because Zest is taking the lead. And look, this is very important to point out. Zest has both survived all-ins from Dark and beaten Dark in Supreme late game. Okay?
Yeah.
That means that it's no longer two styles or two different types of players going against each other, and they're trying to use their own strengths to surpass them. You know what I'm talking about? Like the guy that's always rushing versus the guy that just wants to get to like the 5th base. No, the fact that Zest has won on both these fronts, which is not really something that ever happens to Dark. Okay?
Yeah.
Dark is usually both winning with any type of aggression he goes for, and then also, if it gets to late game, he's by far one of the best players of all time at that. So to see Zest, especially in a PvZ, man, a lot of Protosses do not kill Zergs in the Supreme late game.
Yeah.
To use that air fleet to then force the Zerg into trying to respond to that, but then also handling this balancing act of having a strong ground army.
Yeah.
And then knowing when to trade efficiently.
These quicker Corruptor builds, I don't think are working for him so much.
Well, the Corruptor's always been a weird unit.
Yeah.
It's like, I get when they were designing the game, they're like, okay, we need to have like the hard air counter. But with StarCraft 2, it's such a game of massing as time passes. It's a very deathball-y game at certain points in time.
Yeah.
If you get enough air units that you force them into making Corruptors, because that's the only thing that can kill the air units, then you sort of have this dud unit later on.
Yeah.
So it's
and
like,
you switch out of your air army really punishes that. And the thing is, he tries to counter it by going into Broods, but then you go back into air, and it's tough because the Corruptors just sitting there are terrible.
The Corruptor is a very one-dimensional unit.
Yeah.
Like, even with the fact that they gave it that barf ability that just, you know, you could damage.
It was a good idea.
It makes it more than what it was, which was before it would just literally fly, and you think, can't you just like fly lower to the ground and like hit ground units, you know? More on that in a second.
I wonder stats-wise if it would start beating stuff like
Dragon Phoenix
how it would do against charge bots that are like charging into it and
They need to
attacking.
make Corruptors like Vikings, where they land and those little spaghetti legs just come out his feet and starts walking around slowly.
Yeah, I'm down for that, Tasteless. But here's the thing, okay? Keep their
Dragon
stats all the
Phoenix
same,
Gaming. Dark.
but let them continue to be stacked. So you have like 50 Corruptors on the ground, and Zelts are like charging
They're
in
just
onto them.
stacked on each other's shoulders.
They would be one-shotting Archons and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, good unit, but then your Disruptor ball bends over. You try to lift them off and they aren't quick enough. You need that Terran like transformation upgrade. Oh man.
So, I mean, Dark's one win away from, or I'm sorry, Zest is one win away from just taking this, which is crazy to me. I mean, he's coming in full force here in 2020. It's super exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, he's looking great. Here's, what if Zest is actually the best player in the world? What if it's not Maru and it's not Rogue?
Well, I think that might be the case today.
What if Zest is actually...
Like, that's why we're having this tournament, Artosis.
What if... Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a good point, Tasteless. What if Zest is actually the greatest of all time, but he plays the most underpowered race, Protoss?
You're speaking my language, go
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
He just doesn't play a championship quality race. So it's hard for him to win, but he's actually the highest skill that we've ever had, maybe. I don't know. I'm just posing questions.
Yeah, the important ones. It is kind of crazy to see, you know, him go toe-to-toe with Dark, and it's a kind of a funny way of playing to kind of exploit the fact that Corruptors and Mass are only useful in very specific situations. You know, if you create the problem that's the nail, and then they have to make a hammer to stop it, but then the next thing you make the hammer isn't useful anymore, you need a screwdriver. It's really punishing the fact that there's a 200 supply limit. Like, you don't get to just make the Corruptors and then keep them and then build back up. And, you know, it's like, no, actually, that they're capped now. And so...
Can you imagine if there wasn't a 200 supply limit, though?
Yeah.
How many Banelings Dark would actually... You'd have to actually have only Banelings that lift off.
I mean, you basically just keep massing Banelings until the other guy's computers crashes because it can't handle that much stuff in the game. If they scan and see that many Banelings, the computer just shuts off and it's overheating.
Hey, what if they made it so that you could unmorph a Broodlord into a Corruptor again?
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that's a really...
You get half your money back.
Yeah, yeah. You get more of your money back. It's like
you just make money like that?
Yeah, it's an infinite money machine.
That would be great.
Economists are baffled by this concept, but...
Zerg just prints money!
Yeah, they just print money. It's crazy.
They're devaluing the minerals on the Protoss side of the map! GSL, where everyone goes for financial advice.
That's right.
All right.
We have to start this cast by saying this is not financial advice.
So it was Oracle then Void. So a little bit different.
Yes. But I think it's going to end up in around the same spot. And I think this complements the second, what was it, the third game build? You show an Oracle, keep them guessing.
Yeah. Third Nexus.
Oh, there's no queen here. Look at that.
Ooh, 5 kills. That's legit.
Yeah.
5 kills, yeah.
A lot of big Oracle kills here today.
Yeah. Oracle's, like, Zerg's kind of had it down for a really long time to 2 kills, where it's like you get 2 kills and the Oracle has some serious hull damage and has to get out of there.
Right.
But 5 kills, that's awesome. Second Stargate, all right. Zest is doing it, man. He's sticking to what works. Now Dark, will he stick to what doesn't work? The Corruptors.
Is he going to use another queen attack here to try to end the game?
I still want to know where those 6 mutas are, Tasteless.
I know. They're in game 7, you wait.
Yeah. I would like to see Dark go into his more Ultralisk-based late game. I guess we'll see. I know that... I think that maybe...
I think life finds a way.
Oh, Tasteless.
Go ahead, Artosis.
No, I have nothing.
Say something else while I make fun of you. This
is just what my life is.
Bare your heart, Artosis.
That's what happens when I'm with you, Tasteless, when I'm streaming, when I'm at home. My kids are all like, Mommy, why is Daddy so dumb? Just like, ah.
All right, the double Void Rays are coming. Robo here, too, for that Disruptor. Gotta have that. Now, I think the gold base makes this, even though this is like thematically this game is like some of the other games, the gold base kind of makes it a bit more interesting, right? Because, you know, one advantage about, you know, what Protoss has been doing on the other maps is that, you know, Zerg isn't in like full-on macro mode. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, just go for the battery.
I still pick off there. Some depths come in so the probes at least don't die.
But yeah, oh, never mind. He might not have a gold base.
Now Zest would have just let that die.
Yeah.
So that was
that's
a good
the difference in
Dark.
play styles. Really, it's a
it's a stylistic choice, is what we call it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fleet Beacon coming up.
Zest chooses to not cancel his Nexus as red meat for the Protoss OP Reddit threads.
He doesn't even cancel.
He doesn't have to cancel. You can literally lose a Nexus and win the game.
Zest reads the thread. He's like, you can cancel buildings?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
What? I thought only Terran could do that. Okay, so Hydras being made. What do you think about these Hydras? Because
Well, I think it's a welcome change, right? Because if he just goes straight into Mass Hydra, maybe he can actually just flood the expansions with Hydras and just kill them.
if Zest figures this out at all, though, doesn't he just go like Mass Disruptor and like blows them all up? Because he has the Disruptor tech coming.
I think you might be right, but I mean, how quickly is this gonna get
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
It feels like it's already inbound, right?
Yeah, he can force a cancel on the fourth phase for sure. Disruptor tech is like just finishing up. Okay, first Disruptor's coming. Okay, he sees it. So
He
this should be.
sees.
He sees.
He knows. He's coming in.
Disruptor on the way.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if he can save this before the attack just wipes this position. I mean, the Void Rays are not high enough in number to fight this. Maybe
Yeah.
with a battery? Actually, probably not.
Well, he has a cannon and overcharge. I just come back over here. Okay, Voids.
Whoa,
have to
whoa,
run
whoa,
back.
whoa, whoa.
Okay, an
Dark.
okay first hit, and he's making cannons. So that's
Dark was like everywhere for a second there. He's like the third, the fourth, the second. It's like easy, man, easy. Just get some wins over here.
okay. He's gonna kill the fourth. That's not surprising, but he has to pull back into a different type of macro game. This is over. He can't do anymore.
But look at that, he knows.
Yeah,
he
that's-
knows.
Because if he tried again to attack, that's like he's gonna get completely wiped out. Carriers totally fine against those small mountains of Hydras, and then obviously Disruptors. Dark did retake his gold base during this. I don't see drones there yet. Okay, or they're just getting there, I guess. Just opening up the map a little bit. So I think Zest right now is invincible. Like, you cannot attack him with the stuff that he has. So yeah, Hive, Lurker, Pathogen Glands, this is all good stuff to see from Dark. Get into some Vipers here, very important. Get into some Lurkers, some Spores, some Queens. That's what we got to see, Tasteless. Half map, half map.
I think this is the way to do it, for sure. Big gateway explosion, man. I mean,
Well, there is that possibility that Zest just runs him over while he's trying to set up all these different techs at once.
the thing is, there's no easy base to attack. I suppose you could get behind the gold, but I think you need to do more than just kind of interfere with mining. I think you need to start, you know, crushing locations.
Prism coming in. I wonder, like, look, Zest is going out for a little bit of a push right now. Prism's going to be coming. Now, does he try to just straight up bust? With the Disruptors, if he takes it slow, it's doable.
Okay. He's going to be in a pretty good spot. I don't think the Zerg has any easy retaliation of this.
No, not really.
If he can just snipe the hatchery, or maybe he wants to loop back up to the top. I don't know.
Well, he needs these Vipers out. You know,
Yeah.
This is a Disruptor-based push, so there's not going to be any feedbacks. The Vipers can get a lot of value, but this push is coming so quick. He doesn't have a lot of time to make this work for him.
Oh, man. 3 Disruptors. A lot of juicy targets down here.
Some solid speed warped in. There are some Lurkers here, which I think is very important as well. Ooh. Okay, Fungal goes down.
Oh, beautiful.
Really good, really good.
Pulls
Okay,
in the carrier, gets the Void Ray as well.
important stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah, another good
great
disruptor.
shot. The Zerg was able to tank that a little bit better.
Microbial Shroud actually being used. Beautiful to see. But kind of a hard army to fight against. The Lurkers are very, very powerful here, but he only has one.
Okay, he gets the hatchery. So basically a victory for that position. No overextension really from Zest either. Now, the top left base is almost so far away, it's oftentimes not worth attacking. Like, you got to be very far out there to really get that and get value from it.
Yeah, I think the onus right now is on Dark more than Zest. Like, Zest is definitely getting good value. He's mining a lot more. He's got a great position right now as well. That's a hard to deal with army. Ooh, we might just get like a massive Zealot Warping in the main.
I think it's a welcome one.
That would be
It's because if he can get in here,
pain.
and I mean, this is a real central spot here for the Zerg. I mean, with the hive and everything else here. Oh, he kind of fakes it out. Okay, he backs up.
Yeah.
I guess when you see the lurkers and the hydras there, getting there that fast, it's like, this isn't going to work.
Mm-hmm. Good defense, good defense.
But real patience exhibited here by Zest.
Yeah.
Knowing that the last thing you can afford to do is to overextend here.
Zest opening up the map a little bit more. He's taking his gold as his spit. Cool thing about Blackburn, of course, is 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock bases. Those are right in the center. Definitely something that could be battled over.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't actually see that many games that look like this.
Almost never, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's funny because a lot of the other bases are just very far away, right? But the burden right now is on the Zerg defending here. Protoss is basically maxed out. The 3 more carriers on the way. I don't know if he wants to commit until those 3 carriers are with the rest of this.
His composition's not perfect. What we're looking at here, like it's certainly strong, but that is not a composition that I think can go and kill Dark right now. You know what I mean? It's like
I agree.
The stalkers aren't great there.
Starting here too.
Yeah, yeah. Like Disruptor Carrier is definitely like 2 units that you want together at the end of the game. But the rest of the army that he has in there is a little bit weaker. We see the Ultralisk Cavern getting started. High Templars being added in, that's super important. The feedbacks, the Psystorm's going to be very, very big. Blink on the way, as well as Prism Speed. Just everyone kind of getting everything now. They need all the different tools.
Finally, Protoss can take the gold base. And that's something we got to, really appreciate here. Zerg is, going to mine out this gold base over time here. Protoss just now getting started. Granted, minerals are not the most important thing when you're this late in the game. But he can use the rest of that mineral boost to kind of get in here. Okay, big disruptor shots into this.
Love the usage of Microbial Shroud. We don't see that very often. But if you have the Infestors, why not?
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, fake Archons.
Huh. I mean, why not, I guess?
Well, he has all those sentries, I guess. And, well, that's a lot of storms, a lot of damage coming out. The parasitic bombs are starting to get through the shields at this point. He needs a bit more anti-air damage.
Are there enough zealots on the ground over here?
They're slow zealots, man. They're going to get crushed by the lurker.
I didn't even realize. I felt like the computer was crashing when they came out. They were so slow.
And, like, all the interceptors did get eaten up there. Dude, Microbial doing a good job, for sure. Really reducing that damage output of the carriers. Neural almost done here. Both players with 10 geysers.
It's kind of funny. Mothership coming.
Oh.
But, and finally Zealot charges coming. I was waiting. I thought, he needs to get that upgrade. This actually might explain why he didn't do the mass Zealot warp in that main earlier.
Oh, it could have been. You would think he would start, though. Start the upgrade afterwards. That's like, as soon as you realize you don't have charge at this point in the game.
No, it's like you actually have to get that ability.
You can have no gates and you'd get it.
Yeah. It's just, there's no way the game's supposed to go on without that there. Now, it looks like Zest may be coming out here for another attack.
Ooh, okay, look at this composition. So it's 4 High Templars on the ground, 4 in the Prism, and then carriers. This type of play is where the Ultras can actually come in and be very, very strong. Storm doesn't really get rid of Ultras, nor do carriers very quickly, so you can kind of clear out High Templars on the ground. Like, he has no other supporting units there. Like, okay, 2 Voids. Okay, here we go. Archon's coming in very, very important.
And he's going to come in here with his Warp Prism. Does he want to warp anything in here?
Not so sure. Okay, some great yoinks. Gotta get rid of, man. Yeah, some big Psystorms going down. The Shrouds providing that extra armor.
All right, another big warp in over here now. What is it? It's going to be some Zealots coming in here. The Mothership does meet up with the rest of
Slow
this.
Zealots.
Yeah, well, charges 1 second away from finishing.
There we go.
I really like the Psystorms.
Dude, he can't see.
Yeah, you're right.
It's brutal. Okay, he brings up a lot of infestors. Oh, man. Feedbacks. Really causing a problem. Okay, going to target down the mothership finally. Now we can actually see what he's fighting against here. He's lost the hive, unfortunately.
He's taking the hive out here. We're going to see how much hive tech along with that is killed. Big fungals.
Yeah, looks like he's starting to pick some of this off, but there's still a lot of interceptors left here. The Queen's the only anti-air with a few Hydras left over. Lurkers moving up as that anti-ground. More Hydras being rallied in. Both players, like, plummeting as far as supply goes.
Yeah, I think
and Zest has to get out of here.
Yeah, he can get out with these carriers. It just, again, you know, he's got the gold base, burn those minerals.
All right, the Prism gets out. That's kind of nice. How much tech did he actually lose?
So I don't know. I wish we could actually click around the map here and see what's left. So the pool's getting remade. Funnily enough, that wasn't remade immediately. He still has the Ultralis Cavern. There's no Spire anywhere, right?
Not sure. I think not.
I didn't see it unless
no,
it was
I
on
think
screen
he does
and I
not
missed
have.
it.
I think he does not have a Spire.
So although there was a lot of supply that was given up, I mean, keep in mind too, Zerg. You know, Zerg has the top left. The gold base mines out quicker. Top left is just going to go eventually. Okay. There's actually nowhere else for Zerg to go on this map.
Yeah.
That is not you know, sticking out like a sore thumb. So Zerg is going to expand to the base that's adjacent to what was once the main that the Zerg had. And this is where it's going to get interesting. Nicely done.
Okay.
Because I think that if Protoss plays this correctly, keep in mind Protoss is not taking the top right. Protoss is actually expanding at a very moderate rate this game, okay? This has not been like you know, a game where Protoss is trying to stay even. But there's eventually going to be only one base that can be taken. By the way, Artosis, bottom center. Nexus coming in.
Okay, that's definitely an important base that's going to have to be fought over. A couple Robos just got started, so it looks like some Immortals are going to be added in since this is. Yeah, I think that's not a bad choice. Maybe some more disruptors as well.
Another mothership.
Yeah.
This is the step mothership.
That's good.
And I don't know.
It's because the original mothership died. Okay, so yeah, 3 Immortals at a time. With the Ultras being added in, I mean, if you get a bunch of Immortals out here with +2 attack, you are just going to pop the Ultras. How many Infestors do we have right now?
That's a good question, Artosis.
Okay, I see
There
like
are
at
2
least
coming.
5. That's a decent amount. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how he utilizes that. Obviously, the Templars with their feedbacks are going to be one of the main issues here. If he can just go hog wild with his Infestors, this is not hard, but it's never so easy.
I guess he's going to expand up here, another base we almost never see taken.
Yeah.
And he can kind of defend this base while attacking the top left. Now, I think the real important location to watch on the map is the Zerg's newest base near the bottom center.
Yeah. Another attack into here. Just gaining any value right now is worthwhile.
Yeah, if you could kill a bunch of drones and make them remake it, it's fine.
Yeah.
You're trading energy that will always come back on the Templars for drones, which cost minerals.
And it's not that losing the drones right now causes severe damage to Dark, like losing a few drones. It's not the end of the world, but over time.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking as many little victories as possible.
Hive is on the way, remaking the Lurker Den. There's Nexi still being made. +3 attack on the way. I am just waiting for this engagement, Tasis. There's going to be more spells cast than in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot going down here, man. Takes out, you know, any available gas in these other bases up here in the top left. Now, the small Ultra attack is going to come across over here. You know, there's really not that much to defend. Hold on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Bringing the army down here with the mothership core.
Oh
or
my
mothership,
God.
excuse me.
Look at all the neurals going down here as well. This looks like it's going to be a Dark victory, this fight.
Yeah. He's still got some of those.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Beautifully done here on these carriers.
Destroying.
question is, does he have enough to remake behind all this?
No, he's at 108 supply, but I mean, Dark is not that rich either.
Yeah, Dark is not in the best position either. Now the Stalkers can be microed. Well, what's left here? There should be a lot of Hydras, right? Because those killed off all of the carriers. Okay, so there's a modest amount of Hydras, actually, a little bit less than I thought would be.
This just looks so much more efficient for Zerg.
I think so, and I also don't think that you can go back into Protoss Air right now. I think economically the players are in a very different place.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you have to go like Templar Robo Unit.
Yeah,
like that's basically your choices here. Like you need feedback and Storm, and then I mean I could see Disruptors being really useful against the massive lurkers here. They can be very good against Infestors as well with the Neural. But you're definitely right. Like I think that any more air units is not the way to go. In fact, I don't think we can see any more air units this game. Like even if you mine that whole base out, that's not that much.
Well, I mean, does Zerg have enough momentum? Supply-wise, it certainly seems like it. I think, you know, maybe Protoss can control areas like this bottleneck. Gosh, that's a lot of lurkers, man. I think you're right, Artosis. I think that we're probably going to go to the next game.
Yeah.
Not a base on the map that hasn't been touched yet. Now, does Zerg know about 12 o'clock? I feel like
I think he does not right now.
Yeah, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's definitely something he has to be thinking about, since there's basically nothing else. It looks like he's going for a push forward here. Dude, the Vipers are just going to cause so much advantage.
Well, if he can feedback them.
Yeah. Okay, Zest going to lose that base. It's not the end of the world.
Nice side storm there. Again, this 12 o'clock base is just untouched. Here we go! Oh! Okay, so he feedbacks the Vipers that are harpooning the Templars in kind of a funny exchange. They're both trying to counter the counter unit.
Yeah.
Thing is, like, this is a lot that's being mined here from the Protoss. I mean, he's got, like, you know, 3 functional bases. Can he get a recall off over here?
I think he needs to, yeah.
Oh, this is like... Oh, the walls are closing in!
Okay, he's just going to lose everything, unfortunately. Gets better and better for Dark. It feels like it.
I mean...
He's still making Immortals.
Well, it's like, it seems like in that fight he was only microing, so...
Well, as long as Dark doesn't know about 12, maybe there's a small chance, but oh, look, he's...
Oh, the cannon, you blew the cover.
He did blow the cover.
You gave away the secret. He's like, wait a minute.
Hey.
Ah.
Okay. That is going to end the mining for Zest, I believe. Well, no, Zest has top right still mining.
Yeah, I feel like Zest is not making enough what he needs right now.
And these little Zealot techs don't do it. Like, you need to be able to kill this army.
I feel like we should have a lot more Stalkers and Templars here.
Oh.
I think
Dark has done it.
Dark won. Yeah, I mean, these little Zealot counterattacks, I feel like Zest is broken right now.
Yeah. He's just in Zealot counterattack mode. Yeah, when I'm screwed, I send charge lots everywhere.
Yeah, I start spamming charge lots and cross my fingers. Yeah, this, I think by every metric is over now. I do feel like Zest could have probably put up more of a fight at the end of the game here, but
yeah,
StarCraft is a hard game.
StarCraft is a hard game. I can get on board with that. So yeah, like losing that army at 6, that was pretty rough. I would have liked to see a recall when he got boxed in there and join everything up, see if he can make something happen by just grinding. But the game is certainly at the very end at this point. Like, yeah, he has Mass Immortal, so he's trying to make magic happen. It's one of the units that has potential, but not against Vipers.
GG. Dark takes it, man.
Game 7.
Let's do it.
Dude, that was great too from Dark. Like the
How long
quick
was that
Hydra.
game anyways? That felt
It was like 30 minutes, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, I almost feel like it was more than 30 minutes. But
really?
That was crazy. Not a base went untouched. I mean, talk about leaving no stone unturned there. Extremely complex game. Dark really being patient. You know, it really came down to the neural parasite onto the carriers, and I think had that not gone down, you know, we would have had a different outcome here. But Dark is fighting back, fighting to get that Super Tournament Championship trophy. Zest has, again, been relying on this Stargate style. Does he have another variation that can work? Dark seems to be adapting.
Yeah, that was a very different way that he went for it. Like the Hydra attack on the 4th base, pulling back into the Macream, it actually looked like when Zest was wrecking the gold base that it was very Zest favored.
Yeah.
But the Infestors really came up strong. The Lurkers helping to defend against all those ground units. Really well done, and maybe Zest was pushing a little bit too hard, a little bit too fast.
Well, I think there was this moment where you realize all you have to do is take out that new Zerg base, and the game's over. And I think he pulled the trigger a little bit too quickly. I think he was in a spot where the Infestors could Neural Parasite very easily with impunity. And, you know, with Neural Parasite on the carriers, especially when you have, like, a big army with a bunch of expensive, powerful units, the Neural Parasite can snowball. You get one or two, and you start to win the fight there. And, I mean, I think had that not happened, Zest probably wins that game. Positionally, he was basically set to take the entire map, play a control game, and starve the Zerg out.
Yeah, but trying to finish it too quickly sometimes is not the way. People can get so cost efficient.
It's crazy, man. When you're in a game, you're going so fast. Everything you see, you've conditioned yourself to react to. It's all, you know, building up that muscle memory, and then you think you see an opportunity that might be the killing blow and the winning move of the entire tournament, and then it actually backfires. Yeah. So it's all going to be down to this one final game. I can't believe it. We do not very often have a game 7 and a best of 7.
It's awesome.
Statistically, it's very, very rare. I think we'll probably see the Stargate tech again, although there's always the chance that he does do some kind of a gamble.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind. He's been relying on it so much. That was kind of a cool game, but the amount that Zest has been doing the Void Ray builds, I feel like there is the possibility of something totally crazy here. One of Zoun's builds, maybe?
Maybe. You know, Dark has been known to do some crazy cheeses as well. But I feel like if he's really going to win this, he wants to play the patient scheme, for sure. Just see what they're doing and try to stop it.
Well, this is where you get to show what you're made of. Both these guys, big-time champions. Let's see who takes it in game number 7.
Game start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
Right. This is it, Tasteless, for the championship. Dark already has a championship in Super Tournament. Zest does not.
It is Pylon in the main, Gateway in the main. I thought for a second when he stopped that broke the gold base, I was like, are you going to put something there? Got a little carried away. Sorry, guys. Yeah, let's see. A little bit of a difference in openers, though. You know, a lot of times we've seen Zest just send the probe across to interrupt the placement of the first hatchery. Did not happen this time, so Dark getting to put his hatchery where he wanted to put it.
Important to note that the gate is on top of the ramp, which is a little bit different. There are builds where you don't have to open with the wall.
Hold on.
Well, that is going to be scouted very quickly.
Oh.
Now that being said...
Does he pull the Overlord away in time?
Okay, he sees it. Now, if Zest is doing this, it's because he does have a plan. You can't just... You don't make it... Like, the gold bases are always far away nowadays, so you don't have a build like this and think, well, they just have to not scout it.
Right. The question is, though, what is he doing that's so confident, that he's so confident with, I should say, where he can actually try to take a fight here? Because if you, against Dark, he could see your gold base right away. and you can hold it, well, this should just change everything, right?
Yeah.
Because that would mean that on a lot of maps, you just take the gold base as a default, like we've seen a lot of Zergs do in some matchups.
Do you think it's like, is Dark gonna just go like Roach Ravager or something? How does this work?
And does this set up for an adept pressure here from Zest? I mean, it looks like where else are the minerals gonna go, right?
It could. I mean, it could be Charge. It could be Adepts. I don't think it can be anything else.
So
okay, Roach Warren. Yeah, I mean, Roach Ravager is not a bad choice because it absorbs both those units, but also. Oh, okay, he's going to recall probes. I like it.
So he gets an immediate income boost because of this.
Yeah.
The main base is really a secondary source of income, which ups the ante quite a bit because this is where the majority of the workers are, and we don't know when the next recall is going to be, but an attack from the Zerg is certainly going to be inbound soon here.
Yeah, and he has a robo there at the gold base, so it seems like it's just going to be Immortals and shield batteries, I think. I think that's the plan, and obviously you warp in probably Adepts with that.
So you almost like jabate the Zerg into attacking you, and then you're like, ah!
I think he's definitely planning on the Zerg attack.
Yeah, and then maybe you hold it all off and, you know, end up ahead in that sense.
Yeah, like Roach Ravager Ling, I think. And the thing is, that seems right because Biles should destroy any static D or very turtle positions. Dude, this is such a crazy play here. Okay, sends the Oracle. 2 spores are on the way. Okay, he sees this coming. Cancels the spores. Dark Shrine, Tasteless. Dark Shrine.
I did not see that coming.
That's brilliant.
And the question really is, does Dark see that coming?
I don't think he does.
Look at the Sim City here, too.
Yeah.
The Adept just plugging the entrance, giving cover for the Immortal with the battery in range to charge the Adept.
Oh, he's skipping this base.
Okay, but here's the thing.
There's a sentry up there.
Wait.
Oh, that's a great move.
Yeah. So, you're right, there is a sentry up here, but is the main at all expendable? You know what I'm saying?
No, you can't lose the main. Like, this is... Dude, oh no, this is bad news, I think. Like, Force Fields will buy him sometime.
Well, he's going to lose that cybernetic score, so you can't make tech that's required for the cybernetic score.
I think he's fine with that. It's all about these DTs getting out. If he can...
Oh,
man. All right, another bio goes down. He's going to start to get in
I think
pretty
that's the
soon.
last force field.
You're probably right. This Immortal, okay, he's like killing some Lings. Dark Shrine is almost done, but he's using his Warpins to stay alive.
Now he goes right for that Immortal.
Okay. You know what? He's going to send 2 DTs across the map, maybe?
Yeah, I think you send 2 DTs across the map and then wait for 2 more DTs to save your base. You brace for impact. Oh, he's got 1 DT already here.
Okay, well, you're using the DTs, so now Dark can go ahead and make spores.
I feel like he should have sent it. Maybe not.
Well, he's getting a Prism, so he can do DT drop into Archon drop. Remember that?
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's an old thing.
But now there's a foothold over here on the high ground. He can shell the probes mining.
Layer on the way.
And maybe from here you want to go into charge lot. Try to, you know,
maybe
spin the game out of control. You have the tech for it. You're going to have a lot of minerals, right?
Yeah, okay.
Archon harass into
Archon
charge blood.
Archon charge Immortal.
Yeah.
They call me charge Binks. Yeah, this is wild, man. What a weird game. Zest really bringing out some different stuff.
Yeah, this is a 1 in a million game we're seeing here.
But look at this. Dark is just running him around everywhere.
Yeah, well, Dark's definitely controlling the game in a way that's really put it on completely upside down.
It is.
Zest is supposed to be kind of dictating the pacing of this, but Dark's really seized control of this. Charge lots inbound here, big amount of gates coming. And it's still just a 2-base Zerg.
Yeah, I think he's in trouble now.
If you look at the economics of this, the Protoss' income is really, really good mineral-wise, okay? 2-base versus 2-base, the Zerg is always behind if that goes on for too long. 2-base for 2-base, and the Protoss has a gold.
Yeah, he's mining like 33% more than Dark. Plus even. Look at that. It's crazy to watch those numbers. Way more mineral income.
And a mineral. And he's going to get that Overlord here. No, I guess the transfuses are pretty good. But again, it's all going to be a setup to lead into the mass Zealots.
There's a lot of units coming up to join.
In any normal game, a Zerg needs at least 3 bases to compete with a Protoss on 2. And so as much as what Dark did was pretty scary and really seized control of the game, the economic impact has already kicked in.
Oh my God, look at this attack incoming. Dark takes his hand off his keyboard.
Wow.
Fake Phoenix is even coming in to try to throw him off before the attack. Not perfectly timed, but a great idea from Zest, who looks like he is about to achieve a super tournament victory.
Unbelievable. Another big warp in the Zealots come in. And Zest, with a completely original strategy, has thrown off Dark. GG. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
What a series. What a night from Zest, beating 2 of the top 3 players in Korea, in the world.
Yeah.
And becoming the champion of GSL Super Tournament. This guy, absolutely on fire. Going to lift a trophy. It's been a while, but there it is. Zest, I think you have to consider him a real contender for everything, including Katowice coming up.
Absolutely, as we go to Katowice. I mean, this is a real... And look, I mean, the fact that he beat Maru and then beats Dark in the same day,
yeah,
that's insane.
That's pretty wild.
Coming in here with, you know, and obviously we already know his PvP is top tier as well, but to take on the best Terran and the best Zerg right now in Korea, and then to do it with such style, with such flair, and, you know, really, this strategy in this last game is peak Zest performance. Innovating in a way that we just haven't seen before, but then keeping it that classic Zest style. Even though he won most of this with a completely different kind of conservative tech, the fact that he was able to then come in here and snowball the game like that was incredible. We're going to go to an interview now with Zest, who is the
winner
GSL
of Super Tournament Season 1 2022 is Zest of Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Wow. Zest, overwhelming power today. You were Protoss itself today. And just like you said before, you are the one smiling at the end of the day.
스타트 GSL 슈퍼토너먼트는 30대 뭔가가
Zest
펼쳐진다는 걸
entering your 30s and lifting the Super Tournament trophy.
압도하는 힘으로 우승 차지했거든요.
What a performance today.
오늘 소감 한번 들어보겠습니다.
So how do you feel tonight, Zest?
일단 경기 전에
Well, first of all,
웃을 수 있을 거라고 했는데
before the match, you know, I said I'm gonna be the one smiling at the end of the day. You know, after I lost the 6th game, I was about to cry. I was tearing up. And, you know, I was mentally shaken.
빌드에 대한 신뢰가 좀 있었어가지고.
But although, nevertheless, I did have belief in my strategies, and then that won me the game.
거기다 상대방의 그 심리까지 이해하고.
That's right, there was some fierce mind games going on in the series today. And you showed phenomenal performance, immaculate performance today.
이번 시즌 우승 현존하는 최강의
And Zest, you can now call yourself the best Protoss in Korea for sure. Defeating all the strong players one by one, defeating Maru, Rogue, Dark. Now it is the age of Zest. No one is going to dispute that for sure. And here we have a lot of fans here cheering for you, Zest. So from now on, what kind of performance will you show in tournaments? I'm rejoiced, I'm really happy. But putting this happiness aside, I'm going to focus on the next World Championship, and I'm going to try to continue this momentum. And right now, you know, I'm kind of trying to hide my happiness right now. I mean, you came runner-up twice before, but now you were able to break the pattern. So do you think this season is clearly different for you? Do you think you're going to be able to repay the fans of their support? You know, as people know, I really like drinking. But after entering my 30s, when I drink alcohol, I cannot perform well. So from now on, I'm gonna stop drinking, and I'm gonna try to better my performance in StarCraft 2. Well, great mindset, Zest. Respect for you. Once again, congratulations, Zest, and also, what do you want to say to the fans who are here tonight? Honestly speaking, after looking at the brackets of round 4, I thought I would get eliminated for sure, and I think my fans probably expected that too. but I was able to break that expectation. And now there's only one button left to fill, and then I'm going to try to button it up well in the next tournament. All right, Zest, take a seat, please.
자, GSL 슈퍼 토너먼트 선수들의 멋진 대결. 오늘 많은 팬분들의 바람대로 실과기 나왔습니다.
All right, so Zest's interview, you can see that he is trying to refocus some on StarCraft 2. Very emotional, almost throwing the series, I guess. But we're going to get into the award ceremony here.
That's right. This has been a great super tournament, man. I mean, so many plot twists in this. Sometimes we have GSL, whether it's a Code S or a super tournament, where it's kind of, I don't know, it's the usual results, and everybody kind of stays where they're at. This really showed a real shake-up here in Korea. So we're going to give Dark his second place award.
That's right.
That's what we do.
Without a second place player, there's no champion.
There can be no first. Without a silver, there can be no gold.
And
he gets the flowers too.
Get that runner-up check. Get another big check to put on his wall. Or in a stack of checks behind his bookcase. Who knows?
That's right.
I haven't been in Dark's house. I don't want to assume it's on his wall.
His washing machine. There's just 40 giant checks there.
He makes a cardboard house out of all
No
his
doubt
checks.
he has an empty pot at home that he can put those plants in, keep them alive. Yeah. Pro gamers really value the plants they win at these tournaments. Make no mistake. And now we're going to give our no check. I can do this, guys. I've done this before. A check to our first place player.
Mr. Che, the creator of GSL.
Yep.
Going to be the one to give it out.
All right, Mr. Che, you got to see some amazing performance today. And you were able to witness that firsthand. So, how was it today? All the games were phenomenal. And here, having the fans here in the venue, I'm seeing the people who I used to see when I was a caster myself. And I'm really grateful to the fans for supporting GSL for such a long time. And the fans are always supporting the players who return from the military, and they're always living with the history of GSL. And I hope the players themselves perform well in the IM World Championship. And we hope to produce a better GSL in the future as well. I want to thank all the fans and the staff for producing GSL.
So, here we go. Caster Park is going to call out Dark. And again, this is a really fun super tournament.
Yeah,
I am looking forward to another year of StarCraft 2 with you guys.
Mr. Che has the check, and here it goes to Zest, the champion of GSL Super Tournament #1 for 2022. We will be having another one at the end of the year, and of course, 3 GSL Code S's coming up.
That's right. More on that in a little bit here, but congratulations taking home the $10,000. But I think this was a lot more than the money for Zest. I think he's been on top of his game in years past, and a lot of people regarded him as somebody who was basically going to eventually get phased out of the tier list of best players. But he came back strong, he came back hard, and I mean, he outdid everybody today, showing us that talent, that ability was always deep down inside him.
Yeah. And honestly, like his recent string of performances, you got to give him Best Protoss Award right now. You got to do it.
Sure.
You don't get a choice.
And here is the first date of GSL Season 1, GSL Code S, that is March 21st, guys. We will see you there. It's on Monday, and we'll be on every Monday and Thursday. So be sure to follow us on whatever channels you're following us on, and we look forward to seeing you guys.
That's going to be amazing as well. I mean, it's just going to be so much fun with the new format and everything. We have some players in great shape, and that is going to be it, guys.
Guys, thanks for watching. We love you. Stay safe. We'll see you in the GSL Code S coming up in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.